past Saturday night, live on HBO from Canada. 2 fights, 2 stoppage victories. In the first televised bout, we saw Sergey the Crusher Kovalav knock out Ismail Salak in the second round of their fight. This man, Kovalav, has a very cold heart, ladies and gentlemen. Before knocking Salak out and almost through the ringside announce table, Kovalav taunted his opponent, who was out on his feet, asking him to bring it. That's ice cold. In the main event, we saw Adonis Superman Stevenson take apart and brutalize his opponent, Tony Bellew of England, in 6 rounds. Again, no mercy was shown in this fight. Bellew, whose bell was rang and was out on his feet, was still getting mashed in the corner by Stevenson's punches. 2 cold-hearted men, 1 card. We now turn our attention to 2 of the boxing game's up-and-coming personalities. First, Eliud Vasquez Torres of the BoxingPost.net and young Ruben Diaz of the BoxingTribune.com. Fellas, thank you again for joining us on this cold winter night. I hope all is well. Rate both of these men's performances from Saturday night. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts? Eliud, we'll start with you.
Both Adonis Stevenson and Sergey Kovalav performed extremely well last night. First up was Sergey and his destruction against Ismail Salak. First round, Salak found somewhat success moving around the ring and fighting from the outside. But in the second round, it was all over. Sergey hit him with a right-hand shot that was heard all over the arena in Quebec. He got up, but went down a short time later. And then in the main event, Adonis Stevenson put a performance. He did somewhat struggle with Tony Bellew's height. That's something that I forgot to mention on yesterday's predictions, but he overcame that rather easily in the next few rounds and just was hitting Bellew with pinpoint power shots until he succumbed in round 6.
Ruben, same question to you. Your thoughts on both these men's performances?
Respectively went as I predicted, and I had imagined that both guys would put their opponents away in knockout fashion. I just didn't see the Kovalev fight ending that early. But either way, both guys did a good job. I think, obviously, Kovalev had a highlight reel knockout and was arguably more impressive. However, you have to take into consideration that styles make fights, so Bellew wasn't necessarily the same guy that was Ismail Silka. So you have to take that into consideration. But I think it set up exactly what I envisioned in my prediction that unfortunately didn't make the cut when the video went up. But I think it was a perfect setup for HBO, and as far as what the suits want and now what the fans want, which is a unification bout there at light heavyweight between Adonis Stevenson and Sergey Kovalev.
Okay, we'll stop there. Let's not talk about the potential matchup just yet. Let's talk about competition. Who has fought and beat the tougher opposition in the ring? Eliud, will throw it to you.
Adonis Stevenson has faced better competition in terms of names. He defeated Shad Dawson, but this was right after Dawson lost to Andre Ward by a TKO victory. He was dropped a few times. And then he went on to face Tavares Cloud, who the last fight was against Bernard Hopkins, and he was thoroughly dominated. Kovalev has faced a more prime competition. For example, Nathan Cleverly, he fought him in the United Kingdom and took his WBO title in his own backyard. And he also fought Gabriel Campillo, who at the time many consider him to have beaten Cloud and should have been the champion, and he knocked him out in 3 rounds. So, in my opinion, Kovalev has faced the more prime competition.
So it sounds like you prefer Kovalev. Let me ask you this, Eliud, or just another hype like Lucien Bute?
Stevenson, I think he's the real deal. Obviously, he did win the 175-pound title from Shad Dawson, but I would like to see more from him. And he's not getting any younger. He's 36, will soon be 37. So he's got to get these big money fights and big names to add to his legacy. Because, like I said, time is not on his side. And a fight with Chavez Jr. is being reported. But I think that Chavez Jr. should stick at 168 and try to challenge those guys at 168 like Ward and Kessler or even Froch, because at 175 he's just going to get hurt. He's going to get crushed by these big punchers at 175. So if Chavez is hearing this, I hope that someone tells him just stay away from these monsters, because it's just not going to happen for you.
All right, Ruben, I'll throw it back to you. You touched on it. Now let's talk about it. Adonis Stevenson, Sergey Kovalev. Does this fight need to happen, and does it need to happen now? Is there enough name recognition with these two guys right now, or should the promoters and HBO, or should their network HBO let this fight marinate a little more so they can pull as many fans in as they can? Is this the right time for Stevenson versus Kovalev?
Do I think that this fight needs to be made now? Would it be pay-per-view? Pay-per-view? Probably not. But both guys are I mean, that's style-wise. Kovalev versus Stevenson is a great fight for the fans and, for the general boxing public, even people that aren't, per se, boxing purists or boxing fans. I think it's a great fight to make. But I'd say, why not give them one more fight just to build up the fight? So sort of like a tune-up for both, I think would be okay. And, do it the same where one guy is on the undercard and the other guy is main event, and have them both, win impressively, and then go into a heavy marketing campaign to promote the fight. Although Stevenson, and you can't knock him for it, but everybody's saying, oh, well, he called out B-Hop and he called out so-and-so, but he wants nothing to do with Kovalev. Well, as far as money goes, I mean, I'm pretty positive that a fight with B-Hop would bring him more money than Kovalev, and obviously a lot less risk. But therefore, I don't think that he doesn't want the fight. All fighters, most fighters, they'll fight whoever. They once they step in the ring, they're fighters. But it's business first, and I think Stevenson at 36 years old realizes that. Another question: I don't think he is a Lucian Bute type fighter. I think he is what he is. He's wide with his punches, but he has a real fighter's merit. And he's a very tough fighter with very strong hands. But you have the same thing in Kovalev. And as far as Stevenson, I think he should. He'd have nothing to lose, really. I mean, maybe his belt, but he would gain notoriety and possibly making a fight of the year. It would definitely be, in my opinion, a fight of the year front runner, just with their styles, Stevenson and Kovalev. So I think he should definitely consider a fight with Kovalev, and we'll see how that goes. And also, Stevenson is fighting on HBO, so a fight with B-Hop doesn't seem very reasonable right now, since Hopkins is fighting on Showtime.
I definitely think that these two guys should be matched up next. It just makes perfect sense. They both fought on the same night, performed well. Both guys are champions. They hold two of the four major titles, including the Ring magazine light heavyweight title that is owned by Stevenson. So I don't see why this fight should not be made. And it definitely could happen in Stevenson's hometown of Quebec, where he's very popular and he packs the stadiums. I'm pretty sure that Sergey Kovalav has no problem traveling to Quebec again, as he did against Nathan Cleverly when he fought in the UK. So let's make this fight happen. Let's not waste any time. The only thing that bothered me last night is that Stevenson, when mentioned Kovalov's name, he kind of mentioned other names that he wanted to fight, like Bernard Hopkins and Carl Froch. But this fight makes a lot more sense. I don't know if he's trying to milk it, as they say, and then go against Kovalav, but why not put these two guys together in the ring now while they're hot and both hold championships?
Dude, great insight. Thank you very much for coming on. As always, it's a pleasure to talk boxing with you two fellas. Remember to follow Eliud Vasquez Stores on Twitter at Boxing Pulse, and you can find Ruben Diaz's work at theboxingtribune.com. We the Concrete Jungle are also on Twitter at the K Jungle, same as our Instagram account name. For more boxing videos, news updates, interviews, and more, subscribe to this boxing page to stay first with the boxing world. My name is Blue Mercury. Thank you for watching.